Wait. Oops. Shit. There it goes like this. There we go. There we go. And if you know, you know. You like it, Karl?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So this is Karl. Karl's a Norwegian. He is a goblin or a gnome today.
I think I might be a pumpkin today.
A pumpkin. You're a pumpkin. He's a
You
pumpkin.
have me making pumpkin soup, and then you also insist that I dress up like a pumpkin for YouTube.
I incested him to look like a pumpkin today. Anything to get my YouTube broken. Let's see. I'm putting my socks on because the floor is colder than I thought. So, Merry Christmas. We're on the microphones, so I hope you can hear us today. The idea was to go outside. Yeah, he's got his on too. So you should be able to hear us much better, like maybe we did 2 years ago. I think it was the second year out of 4 that we did YouTube that it was better.
I think the sound on this side is pretty good no matter what. But
Yep. Oh, I can't see my chat there, but I can see. That's weird. I can't see the chat, but I can see it on the computer. Okay, wait a minute. There we are. Oh my God, lots of people. They've been chatting the whole time. Okay. So the first one to say I can't hear you will have me concerned. But I don't see anything about that, so hopefully you can hear. And hopefully the sound is much better than before, and if it gets really bad, I can mute Karl's microphone. So okay, but anyway, it seems that the good old-fashioned, yay! Yeah, because they're awesome when they work. They worked, we didn't have them the first year, and then it was, then Karl wasn't on YouTube yet. The second year we had them and we tried them and it worked great with the phone. And then some flippin' iPhone update came in, all of a sudden it wouldn't work anymore. But this is the first time we're trying them with the new microphones, so yay. The other nice thing is it's going to make noise when I touch this, but they have a wind cover on it. So we could have actually gone outside while it's blowing wind like mad and it should have been fine. You should have been able to hear us. You shouldn't get the big in the microphone. But then it started to rain.
Yeah, and it's also dark.
It was doing so well today. Yeah.
Yeah, but then you let one of your goblins out.
I should have done that. I told her she could go buy a slushie. I gave her my credit card and everything. So, anyway, yeah, so hopefully you can hear much better and it doesn't make too much noise, but let us know. And it's good that it picks you and I both up. This also means in the village, when it works, we can put the microphone under somebody's face. So even if Karl, for example, if I do this, is there in front of the microphone, or in front of the camera, you should be able to hear him just as well.
I would say probably yes and maybe.
Yep, because that's the problem we had before, is that the front of the phone was not picking up for YouTube only. If we recorded a video, it would have been just fine, but because of YouTube Live, it didn't...
But I think the actual issue is that it has to prioritize either the inside or the outside microphone. And as long as you are talking, it prioritizes the inside.
Let's see, there we go.
Currently incapable of not talking, it will always prioritize the inside.
No, this is true, and even if I'm still talking, it'll pick him up. No.
Maybe.
Anyway, so we shall see. I like there's an alien in there. Oh, I can't wait to read what Rhonda's up to. Rhonda's screaming aliens. No, anyway, okay, so a little bit of history, because now I've been putting this on Blue Sky, which is, I don't know, Democratic Twitter, I have no idea. But some of the Nalbinders are trying it and asked if I should try it, so I did. And since I'm advertising on there, we have a little bit of new people. So we have to tell them, who the hell are you?
Who the hell am I?
Yeah.
I'm the famous one in this group.
Yeah, he is. It's my damn YouTube, and he's the famous one. Yeah, who are you?
I'm Karl.
I'm Karl. And what do you do for a living when you're not a druid?
I'm never a druid.
Or a shaman? Or what are you doing? What are you today?
I'm a professional Viking.
You're a professional Viking. I'm a semi-professional Viking.
I also dabble in cat whispering.
And yeah, Fuzzy's here. And then, why are you the famous one? Ha ha ha. I'm going to plug you. You know that name drop. Name drop.
Yeah, no.
You guide.
Yes.
So for guiding anyway, then when you get people walking around, Instagrammers, vloggers, whatever, and every time we get somebody famous, Karl seems to be the one that knows the most of what he's talking about. So we stick him off with them. And most recently, you were featured on Conan O'Brien on his Conan Must Go show, and that's why he's the famous one, and I'm still the one that books the Freeman at the village. But we both work at Viking Valley Gudvangen. This is our account, so if we screw up anything, it's on us and not the job. This is our own time. We don't get paid.
To be pedantic, it's your account.
It's my account, that's
So
right. So
even
when
when
he
I
gets my account shut down, it's on me.
Mm.
You want to explain some of those situations?
Well, I can
We can reflect on the last
I can
year.
very easily recreate one of these situations.
No, you're not going to create one of these damn situations. Carl has a hobby, and it's not just Viking. Carl the Cabbage Sword Fighter. Oh, yeah, no, I need all the... Okay, all the time that Carl's been on here, he has to have earned some nicknames, so we need to give him some. So, yes, Carl the Cabbage Sword Fighter. That would be a good one. What else can we call you? Carl the Cuddler.
Nobody's going to believe you there,
He's
woman.
a cuddler. He loves me. Yeah. No, so anyway, but yeah, so that's what we do. I have I've got half admin, and then I do textiles as well at the village. So, but yep, this is on our own time. So we try to do. When I first started doing this was with Virginia in COVID. I think the first week of lockdown, and we called it Viking Nalbinding. I mean, we called it quarantine Nalbinding because we thought people needed to have something to do together when everybody was in lockdown. And in about, I don't know, 30 weeks in, I think, is when she ended up getting another job anyway in Spain, and she moved away. And you suddenly showed up, testicles and all. And
usually bring them with me, yes.
Yes, his testicles and all. You got to go back to like week 36ish or something like that. Carl makes his first appearance, and he tells a story involving testicles and swords. So, that was fun. Karl the Kitty Petter. And Karl has pretty much been on ever since. So this went from a lot of needle binding to a bit of Viking, because then we were no longer in quarantine anymore. So then we decided to call it Viking Null Binding. And lately we haven't been very much Viking, but a bit of null binding.
Well, we are not in our work attire.
No, they were on vacation. Yep. And we're the Mayonnaise Fighter, says Charlotte. We're getting some really good nicknames for you. Karl the Mayonnaise Fighter. Okay, so I have a Facebook account. It's a private account, so I don't really accept too many friends on there. But not only that, I think I'm maybe only on it once a week, more or less, just to post. I need to be on there much more, so I've missed a lot of stuff. But definitely to check out the needle binding groups of all. But it's one place I can. My account is, for most of the part, is public anyway. It's just my kid stuff that is private. And so Karl and I had a Christmas card. I figured out another new function on this phone. Not only are the microphones working with it, so we can go back to that, but also it seems I can make stickers. So I can take a picture, I can make a sticker, and I can put it on another picture, and suddenly Karl's got a whole new story. So if you haven't seen it, our little Christmas card this year, actually I think I can find it here. It's probably not going to be the best image, but it'll do. Okay, and so we played Caption This, and hopefully you can see it. It's basically Karl holding up Guinness beer because he happened to have two of them in that picture. I turned him into a sticker, and Santa, no, it's Belgian beer. I forget, the Vestal or something. And Santa's on the phone, and so we said Caption This, and we got some pretty good results. So you can go and see those, but I will start with, I put them on Blue Sky too. There's only two of them on there because don't have too many. So the results are in. Let's see. Caption this year's Christmas card. What Santa really wants during a long night of work is the Belgian beer. And then another one was Cheeky Redhead writes, Karl wants to get a reindeer drunk to see how they really fly. Maybe that's why he always goes like this in the sky. And then Facebook, there's a winner on here, for sure, my favorite. Okay, so a lot of them just saw Miss Christmas card and put Merry Christmas, but my God, Facebook is like flooded with Christmas cards, so that makes sense. I decided to kick it off because I didn't know if anybody quite saw the Caption This, and put, hello, officer. I'd like to report a crime. A creepy Viking has been spotted feeding Belgian beer to the reindeer, and we can't get off the road, or off the ground. So I thought that was my good one. But mine doesn't count. Then we got lots of Merry Christmas messages. Thank you, by the way. I'm going to come to that one last because that's my favorite. Bribing, this is from Drea, bribing Santa with Belgian beer so he brings better gifts. I thought that was good. Did that work, by the way?
Yeah, to some extent.
To some extent, yeah. Okay. Linda Swanson, my cousin, writes, I've got just the right go-go juice for you, Santa. You think that worked? Raymond writes, all I need with this beer is some mayonnaise. I know Charlotte is approving that. And Mal Dixon, he's our Scottish guide, from the past. Viking tries to impersonate Hercule Poirot. I'm totally killing that name. And fails.
Poirot.
You have to explain that one because I wasn't politically sound enough to know what that was.
Not politics, it's Agatha Christie.
Okay, I don't know Agatha Christie enough.
She writes about two characters, Miss Marple or Hercule Poirot. Hercule Poirot is Belgian, but he seems archetypical French. So every Englishman thinks he is French, and he gets equally insulted every time.
Oh, okay.
So holding two Belgian bears would be me impersonating him.
Oh, okay. I knew Miss Marple, though. Okay, I'm feeling good. I should probably read
need to
books
buy more books.
I have read Agatha Christie going up. I just could not remember who in the hell Hercule Poirot was. But anyway, so Karl tries to impersonate him but fails. Poor Agatha Christie's crying somewhere. And then Anne Moreau, Belgian, says, that's why it took Santa twice as much time to come this year. I hope they enjoyed it. And then Marie Tvito, one of our goth Vikings, says, Vestmala, it makes your reindeer grow an extra leg. And my absolute favorite, this is going to be the winner in my opinion, James McElroy writes, hello, I would like to report that someone other than me is watching people when they are sleeping. And I thought that was awesome, actually. I said that's probably true, too. And the fact that he brought beer for the show is rather interesting. So there you go. So if you have another one you want to add to that, let me know. That's funny. And then, of course, the thumbnail that we used this year is the Karl the Goblin in Selje. You're the Christmas Goblin, Karl. Do you have any goblin stories? You thought you would have to come up with a goblin story because they made you a Christmas goblin.
I was hoping that if that was to happen, it would come from the chat, not from you stabbing me in the back and forcing me to do goblin stories, woman.
I would absolutely. Creepy Viking Jesus approves of this beer, says Nolvia. Oh, I got to bring up the chats now. There's so much in here. The mayonnaise beer. That could be interesting. Karl the Viking, Karl the Nalbinding model. You are Count Nalbijula, I think it was. Count Nijula. Yeah. I didn't get my pattern out this year. I kind of completely forgot it. I was too busy making my kids stuff. But anyway, I can see if I can get it out for New Year's Eve, and Maria can still post it. If not, I'll send it to her and she'll post it whenever. But I'll do that. I didn't realize that suddenly Christmas was here, and we were, Advent is before Christmas. So I hope I probably didn't piss anybody off. But I haven't been answering my messenger too quickly lately. Okay, so you think of a goblin story. We're going to say hi to Audra. And Samantha's here. Whoa, I'm early this week instead of an hour late. We like it. Max is here. He says, how is everyone's Christmas? Charlotte is here, also making dinner here. Outside it's pouring down. It was beautiful here. We were shooting weapons and took a really great photo to put on the cover of my live YouTube, and then thought, nope, Karl would break it again if I did that. We thought we could have him shooting Santa or something because I was playing with the stickers.
Yeah, I think we would have trouble with that thumbnail.
I think we would have trouble with that thumbnail. So, because it turns out a lot of the things that you see that are allowed on YouTube are allowed, but not live. So that was the issue there.
I don't know the whole story, but a couple of years ago, a YouTuber was killed. I think it was live, but I'm not sure. Because he had an idiotic idea that a Bible would stop a 50 Action Express bullet.
Yeah.
So he had his girlfriend shoot him with a Desert Eagle through this Bible. This is a massive bullet. A Bible won't even slow it down.
Wow.
So he died.
You know what? Your brother-in-law was telling us a story about a YouTuber guy that died. This was apparently a long enough time ago for him to be featured in the film Långa flatta bollar, which means long flat balls. but it's a goofy film in Norwegian. But anyway, one guy was something on ice. Anyway, he was running around with ice skates and a bathing suit, swim trunks anyway, and he was chainsawing the ice and then going for a swim. And in one case, he would chainsaw the ice over here and then a spot over there, and he would swim underneath the ice and go up to another spot. But apparently, in one of his stunts, he was filming himself and he drowned.
Yeah, no,
What was that guy's name? On the Ice or something? He had a gazillion million
I don't
followers.
remember. But
That was a Norwegian one, though.
when you make an environment where people try to outdo each other by doing more and more dangerous stuff,
Yep.
obviously this is going to happen.
So anyway, so unfortunately, we decided not to shoot Santa Claus or any goblins on the cover of our YouTube this week. Just Karl the Christmas Goblin
It
instead.
was kind of weird.
He does look like an orc, though.
I brought an air pistol so that we could do some targeting practice because I
Mm-hmm.
thought my sister's boyfriend and one of her two goblins
Twin number
would
two.
actually like that.
Yeah.
But then it ends up being me, her, and my sister. My sister, the hippie-like teacher,
Who
actually shoots pretty well.
kicked your ass?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. She got the best score. She actually hit the orange mark, the target in the middle anyway. While we're all skating around the outside, and I managed to hit the top of the post and have it ricochet off into a tree. I thought that was pretty impressive. Anyway, okay, so we did that. Let's see who else we have here. Garcia is here. Audra says she overate during the holidays. Oh God, yeah, I did. You know what I got for Christmas? I was gonna show. Yep. I got a present. Let's see, we don't shake the camera off the table. For those of you in Norway, this was not a nice present. It's gone. I ate it all. And I have the chins to show for it. It's called, on the topic of balls, caramel balls. But they're like, and it's Big Brother's, Store Bror's caramel boller. But they actually have a whole bunch of different chocolates and it's or candy kinds, varieties. Some are even gummies, and they sell it like handball groups or whatever, sports teams. They can get these in and then sell them and make money for whatever.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things.
Like the Norwegian version of Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, it's the Norwegian version of Girl Scout cookies, yeah. And I can
But,
do it all, but
also-
not this one. Oh my God, I ate them all.
Just a final point on Norwegian. Bollar is better translated to buns. Ballar balls.
I fucked it up again, didn't I?
You said caramel baller.
Because caramel balls would be way more fun than caramel buns.
Well, maybe because I'm straight, but I prefer buns over balls almost every day.
I ate them all. Anyway, they were really good. They look like the kind of the coconut ones, but these ones have like a chocolate sprinkle on it, and it's just like this mound of caked caramel in there, and chocolate on the outside and sprinkles. And never buy this for me ever. It was so good. So yeah, no, overeating. Yeah, we definitely did that. Even Karl might have almost had his belly almost went like this instead of this.
I eat well
Maybe.
at Christmas.
This is Karl normally, and that was Christmas.
It's not only that you eat at dinner, but you keep munching the food all day afterwards.
Look at the way he is sitting and on what? Oh, on the guy. Yeah, no, Charlotte's onto something there. That's a thermos in his hand.
Yeah, okay, that was actually...
And he has a little pussy too. Just like... I gotta say, and the highlight on that little seat there, whatever, the anchor, no, what is it, like something you tie a boat onto, when you tie a boat off on the dock, what's that called? The big metal thing sticking out and you just...
You would call it pole in Norwegian, but it
Yeah.
has a specific maritime term in
The
English.
cat is ogling. Oh, but my God, though, but Charlotte, she's dying, and I get it, because when you see this on camera, it does not look like one of those. There's like a shiny object here and a shiny object there, and they're kind of ball-like, I gotta say. Look at it here.
If
and
I
now,
had a
look
pink-
at it on camera. Look at that.
If I had a pink thermos, I don't think I would hold it between my legs like that.
I don't know, but the cat has definitely got some questions. Look at that thing. Even the seagull wants to have words about it. Okay, so there's more than one reason not to buy it, but they're really good.
They are really good. I
They're
don't see
really,
any
really
reason
good.
not to buy it.
I
but
managed to get Karl to help me eat some of them too, and my kids. So wicked, I like that. Okay. Oh, there's traditions writing in here. Yes, write your traditions. I want to hear those. My traditions have changed a little bit over the years, depending on where I'm in situation. Let's see. It was here. I think it was. Yeah, Samantha Harrington. Right. I like the cover photo. Was it inspired by Karl's orcs? Yes, it is. I did. I did a Google search for Christmas Goblin, evil Christmas Goblin, and I came up with that. And it reminded me of these little figures. So Karl also got a present for Christmas. You have this one, but you can never have enough. He says. This is. Oh, sorry. I've got my fingers right over the. So that's what Karl got. So it kind of looks like it, don't you think? So it only makes sense that Karl is one of these. Ooh, I gotta clean my fingernails. We'll just do that. But anyway, yeah. So that was my thought. It has to be an orc because Karl, how's your stash busting going?
I haven't done anything, as you know.
But you're supposed to. Karl was gonna stash 1,000 points of orcs. They're still sitting where he put them over 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on Halloween. So meanwhile, I'm doing pretty well. I just have to finish the hat. It's about here right now. It's behind the gimbal, so I'll grab it in a minute. Otherwise, everything's gonna go flying. And I have like 5 days left to do it in. What's the date? 28th. Yeah.
Now, my days in Gudvangen
So I will
lately
do it.
has I start at 8 or 9 o'clock, depending on how I get to work.
Mm-hmm.
I go to work and I work in minus degrees guiding tourists for 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have lunch. Then I operate heavy machinery for 3.5 hours. Then I go back home. Then she wants me to peel or cut or do something to make food.
See that we use the microwave, and we've done
Then
that
we
a little
make
too much
food
lately.
and we see something stupid. And the hotel inspector, 90 Day
That was fun.
Fiancé, something on that level of stupid. And then I immediately fall asleep, and then we repeat the same procedure the next day.
Yep.
So very little time to paint orcs. And also 3.5 hours of operating heavy machinery makes my hands so that I don't really want to grab onto things.
All I hear are a lot of excuses. Do you think I have more time than you to needlebind? I had to go through 645 grams of yarn.
I do strongly suspect that you have a lot more time than me to needlebind.
Nah, a little bit, but not quite. But yep, no. So but I also was smarter this year. I went with a thicker yarn, so it worked a little bit faster. And I'm crocheting. Yeah, Garcia's got it right. Do you know why? Because my kid wants one of those hats, the kitty hats. But the one that she's gonna have, it's almost done actually. So when you do like this tube and you put it together, it kind of makes cat ears. The way you wear it, the way it stretches on your head just turns the points into ears. And then I have to put Spider-Man top stitching on this. But she wants a crochet. But she's also going to learn to crochet this year. So, and then she wants to make Christmas for her. I have to say this is really great though. My kids have been knitting like mad lately. They just started. I mean, they're Norwegian kids, so every kid knows how to knit when they're like 2, and they're born with skis and skein of wool yarn, and. Alex was really good at needle binding. Twin number 2 was really good at needle binding. Twin number 1 could do it, but both of them kind of just stopped when they were around 7. And then now they've started up again at the age of 15 to be 16 as well soon. And wanted to actually make their own presents this year. And if I only had enough yarn in my house to give her some. So yes, we gave her some yarn.
That's kind of a cool thing about them because
And they're finishing them.
you have this this is not cool curve that starts when the kid is about 12 and ends when the kid is about 17. And they are now on the downward slope. Things that weren't cool last year have started to become cool again.
Yeah.
Like needle binding and role-playing
And
games
then,
and that sort of thing.
And, well, I did make one of these hats in. Actually, I should bring out the bag here. Hang on a minute, so this doesn't go flying. I have my needle binding right behind me here. Okay. So I made her this hat. As you see, this is part of my stash busting, which was probably kind of stupid that I used my stash busting wool for this. So I null bound one, and then I, because it was stash busting, I used all the pink yarn I had. Didn't have enough, but I have to finish it because it's stash busting. And I waged, this is inside out, and I waged that I would use it. So I had to finish it even though I ran out of pink yarn. So it's got like a white stripe on the top because I started at the bottom. But that's all it is. You take this tube and you just do it at the top there. Karl, I believe somebody said you were the Nalbinding model.
I have.
There you go. Try it on. So you can see. And you can see, now it's just straight up, but it kind of makes ears when he puts it on. This one is null bound. So yeah, and so now the Spider-Man I have to make is going to have the Spider-Man eyes here, and of course the webbing that I have to top stitch on. But she wanted crochet. I made one in null binding, thought she would like it, but she wanted crochet. Apparently the way it looks, although I think this is too loose in my opinion. So now I'm crocheting. But she did like the blue one I crocheted, by the way. So now my kid's going to learn how to make this. It's just DC all the way, double crochet.
I'm still
Stavmasker.
very confused why this is called a pussy hat. Because it looks like it has two...
It's kitty ears!
I would say it looks like the genitalia of the opposite
Goblin
gender.
hat on Karl, yeah. You said what? You can go put that hat on. And then we see what a goblin looks like. No, so anyway, so that's why I'm crocheting. But my kid's going to learn how to make...
I can do that, of course. But really?
No. Well, we're going to turn you into a goblin. Okay, we got a lot to get through, so... Yeah, oh! Yeah, to be on topic, though. I didn't quite finish the mittens, but this is actually not my stash busting yarn. The blue ones. This is the Coptic stitch. This is the stitch of the month. I got this far. It's a little bit longer than it looks because the Coptic likes to curl. But those I'll finish when I get back. And yes, I always work them in tandem because when I did this one to show, I did one first and then I did the other. But if you do them at the same time, you won't have an issue where this one is the same amount of stitches, but this one feels a little looser than this one. Because either I just stretched this one a lot more or I was a little bit more stressed when I made this one and just, I don't know. But so there you go, needle binding, but it's almost done. And then I make these, all my needle binding wrist warmers for the most part, and mittens I'll make from the bottom up. Because the first row, if it's too wide, it just means your mitten starts further down. And then you get a little bit smaller until it's to here, and then you start increasing on either one side or both to the thumb. And then when you get to the thumb, you take one or two or three stitches to go over to chain over the top here, and you skip a bunch. And then when you go one round or two around, you can see if you have enough space here. And you should. And then when you get to the top of this one, this finger, then you start decreasing a little. Ta-da! And you get a mitten. And then you come back and you put the thumb on. But I don't start my thumb here. I start the thumb, well, depending on the direction, here or here. And the reason for that is because then there's technically like a little less height there. And it keeps my thumb up instead of straight out. So there you go. And then of course I end on the bottom as well and not at the top. So, but that I didn't get much done. But the other, okay, so then that was all regular stitch and all binding, we're getting an all binding part. This is how the hat is looking. That's in regular Coptic stitch. This is the center start. I started with way too many stitches though, so it's kind of increased every 5 rows or so. And then this is the wrong one, the reverse Coptic stitch. So when you turn it around, you'll see it looks like wrong and right. And then it's almost like the reverse anyway, and you keep going. So this one, I think I have to do a little bit more increasing. It tends to curl up, so it's hard to tell. But I think on this one you want it to be a little loose anyway because it does pull together. But that was my thought, is to, because I have to use up this brown yarn, so every once in a while it has a little bit of a row left. I have this much brown left and about the same amount of white, a little bit more of the white, so it should be just enough to finish. Right now it's really kind of look like a bowler hat. Karl, you have to... Karl, the null binding model. Goblin?
I'm very uncertain what this product is.
It doesn't matter, you don't have to like it, I just have to finish it because it's my stash busting. So it looks like I will make my goal this year. Huh?
I have to finish this before New Year.
Yeah, but that's no problem. It's curled up. It rolls down. It's
No
just
problem. You have like 2 days, woman.
That's not a problem. Look how fat that yarn is. I knew what I was doing. I did this in like a day.
Yeah, but you are also very easily distracted.
Yeah, that's true. I have to teach my kid how to crochet. I have to make a Spider-Man hat. You have no faith in me, mister. I have not even touched the orc since I... You're actually negative on the stash busting. You've gone the wrong way because when you picked up the orc to show it, it popped off and broke, so now you have to like re-glue it.
Yep.
So there you go. You got, let's see, it looks like a Daisy Duck hat. It does. I was wondering what stitch you're using for next month. Yeah, I guess we're going to continue doing the stitch of the month in 2025 as well. There are no fines for cross knit looping in Tarim, as that stitch is known around the world, it would be better to call it cross knit looping than Coptic. Yeah, no, you're right. Nella writes in there anyway, but she's right. I don't know why the hell I call it Coptic, but I think it's just habit at this point. But yeah, Coptic, Tarim, cross knit looping. Ann Decker notoriously refers to it as cross knit looping, so that's probably the good reason why anyway. But what to do next week or next month? I don't know. It'll be a surprise. So we have to, okay, because now we've done the color of the month we did for a whole year. This year we decided to do the stitch of the month, I think, or maybe it was last year. I have no idea. I think this is, yeah, I think we've done 2 years with the stitch of the month. I reserve the right to repeat a stitch when 2025 starts. But then we were going to do the stitch along mood blanket. Apparently I got too moody around March because that is not done. And I even did the shorter rows, and I still, that's a lot of work. I couldn't squeeze it, but I will try. Can we do telemark? Yeah, we've done telemark before, but it's been a pretty good amount of time. Yeah, we could do that. We've done Dalby, definitely for sure. And Dalby and telemark are related. The only difference is that when you are, pretend this is the yarn going, well, it is going over my thumb. So when you finish your stitch, there, when you finish your stitch, and you bring your yarn, if you bring your yarn under this, or your needle under this yarn, that's the Dalby stitch. But if you go over this yarn, that's telemark. Otherwise, they're done exactly the same way. Max is also in agreement with the telemark stitch, so maybe that's what we will do. Damn it, you ruined the surprise! And then Raymond was really good for posting all the stitch of the month and the color of the month, which is really good. I was thinking, because Nella's been doing this, and I think this is flippin' awesome, and I don't know if it's Nella who started or if she follows somebody else, but the point is to have a work in progress that you're finishing. So like the whip of the month, you have to finish something. So maybe I've got a lot of hats that are about this far because I was showing a stitch and I never finished them. So maybe I need to do that. What about a garment of the month? Yeah, sweaters for 12 months. We're all doing that. Could be kind of fun too, or a little project of the month. Or Anne Moreau was making little bags, for example, with each stitch, which was quite cool. These little pouches. So Nikki says I have a schlanket blanket that is killing me. That's kind of what my mood blanket was supposed to be. Was a schlanket. It was Kira had Kivi who had a really good idea of doing the mood blanket, but I gotta finish that too. But I think that's gonna take me several months to finish, so that might not be the best work. Yeah, but anyway, maybe a whip of the month too, or something like that. Nikki says I got 600 grams of wool to continue it. Yeah. Okay, you focus on 100 grams a month. You can do this, and you'll be done by half a year. Laugh out loud, sweaters and cardigans all year. Karl, you're going to join us for this? The fastest I've ever null-bound sweater was with a thick yarn, just like the one I showed you. I did a hooded sweater for my kid, the one that's in the blue one anyway. That one took me a week. I don't know what in the hell was going on. I don't think I was working at the time. I think I was actually on sick leave, but I was on a mission from God. I normally, if I don't do much else, it'll take me about a month to do a sweater. And this is, she was, by the way, 8 years old at the time or something, so it probably fit her till she was 12. So it's not a huge sweater. And then, oh my God, could you imagine doing a sweater a month? Then there's the blacksmith sweater. That one's over a year, and he just decided that it was done when it wasn't quite done. But in my defense, the blacksmith kept demanding new things. He suddenly wanted a tall collar. He wanted splits on the side. He wanted a hood added to it. He wanted long sleeves with a little thumb hole. So, but yeah, and that was through COVID. So there you go. Okay, I got to catch up. There's so much more. When is the t-shirt, shorts, and flip-flop weathers in Norway? weather.
That very much depends on who you are, not so much as where you are.
Yeah.
And I have a friend from Harstad in the north of Norway,
Spelled Harstad.
and he will wear t-shirts unless it's actively snowing. And even then, if it is in the south of Norway, because he doesn't really accept our snow as snow, you have to be north of the polar circle for the snow
Yeah, no,
to
you
actually
don't
work.
have any snow outside. I would show you, but it's wet. Just rain. Let's see. Usually between the 25th of June and the 10th of July, writes Nella. What do you think? I would say usually between the 25th of July and the 26th
That
of
would
July.
be true from a Spanish perspective.
Yeah.
That's when Spanish people who live in Norway
But
will wear
Nella
their
has the
t-shirts.
Finnish perspective.
I don't think the Finnish have t-shirts, so the point is moot anyway.
All right. But what we really want to know, where does Santa live? Does he come from Norway or does he come from Finland? It's a lot of people think Santa's from Finland, and a lot of Norwegians would like to think he's from Norway. Where does Santa come from?
The Byzantine Empire, if I'm being completely correct.
Oh, this sounds like a story.
St. Nicholas?
Yeah?
You are familiar with the story, I think.
Yeah.
I don't remember the details. I'm not even sure if it's Byzantine.
Santa
but,
comes from Turkey, says Raymond.
Yeah, that would be the Byzantine Empire back then. So
Raymond gets a point. He comes from Canada, says Arlene. Oh, and Raymond's got some bunny ASCII on there. I like that. That's quite cute. Max says, my nephew's birthday is coming up, so I'm currently making a pair of Nalbinding mittens for him. Finish 2 + 2, and he will be turning 6 on the 22nd. So before I continue, I might consider making a toy for my niece. That's a good idea. Oh, I love Finish 2 + 2, by the way. That would be a really good stitch, by the way, for this thickness of yarn.
okay.
Makes it nice and dense.
No, I have 2 cats,
Cat.
which might not work.
Okay, so what usually happens when this happens, one cat has been comfortable for a while, and cat number 2 just slowly comes in and says, look, I'm a nice cat. I wouldn't do anything. You can stay there. It'll be fine. And then he starts putting his ass on this one's head, and if this one still hasn't moved, he'll be really nice, and he'll just start licking him. He's a nice cat. He's going to be clean and everything, and then he bites him or nips him on the neck, and this one fucks off, and he takes the spot because it's nice and warm now. Anyone else have a problem with that? We'll see if it happens. Oh, I'm so far behind. So what else? You got a book for Christmas. What is your thoughts on this? We got to do a book review.
Can't really review a book before.
No,
I
you haven't read
it,
but you've heard about it. You said Fortellingen om Skandinavia, vikinger, tyranner og demokrater. So it's stories of the Scandinavia, the Vikings, the tyrants. Do you say tyrant?
Tyranner in Norwegian. Tyrants.
Yeah. Tyrants, yeah,
But
and Democrats.
No, I have never heard about this book. All I know about it is what I've read from the backside and from skimming it slowly.
What do you think?
It's interesting.
What's it about? Because I'm not going to read the whole back. It's in Norwegian, unfortunately. I don't know if
Basically,
it's
all of Norwegian history. The Vikings is just part of it. This isn't a book about the Vikings.
It's a pretty thick book, too. But anyway, so we're going to be expecting a full book report on this when you're done with your 1,000 points of orc. What do you think? What else did you get for Christmas?
Yeah, I think that's about it.
You have a Christmas beer. So Karl has cheated, but this is not a new beer for him. Oops, we didn't want to bring with us.
Like the least interesting bear in the universe. This is Hansa Julebrygg. So the Christmas
beer.
beer from the Hansa Brewery in Bergen. One thing that was kind of interesting, and I don't know, I think this might, when I think about it, I think this might have been a mistake on my part, because I had one of these on Christmas Eve and it tasted excellent.
Yeah.
Then I had one on Christmas Day that tastes like the devil's ballsack. And then I have another one now that tastes excellent. So I have 2 theories about what might have happened, because this is a very good brewery and I don't usually fuck up their product, so to speak. So what I think has happened is that I've been eating so many of her caramel balls that my taste buds were basically calibrated for way too sweet. Because those things are
Christmas
comically
balls.
sweet. It's
They are really sweet, and they're not small. They're like big chunks. Uh, what is the percentage on here? Oh, 4.7.
yeah. So
Yeah, so it's regular grocery store beer then.
yes, yes.
So there you go. And is this one tasting good now, or is this
It's
taste
good.
like
Yeah.
mysterious Big Brother's balls?
Mysterious Big Brother's balls.
Storebror's caramel balls. Big Brother's caramel balls.
Yeah. No.
It could be mysterious because we don't know which Big Brother this is, but look at the expression on that guy's face, huh? I notice he also has the double chins from eating too many. Should have never pointed out the ball thing on there, Charlotte. Okay, happiness is a cat blanket, says Nolvia. I gotta keep saying, there's some more people to say hi up here, by the way. We've been ignoring everybody, too. Let's see.
Right. No.
Karsten and Doro are here from Flensburg. We have to say hi to them, too. Nalbinding and beer drinking. Did I miss the episode of knitting cozy bottle holder for a beer? Oh, that we could do a beer cozy every month. There's a lot we could do. I did make those once upon a time because people wanted to drink from water bottles at Viking markets, and so they would needlebind around it. There's absolutely no fine based on this, but it was a way to be able to carry a water bottle with you in the middle of the hot summer months when it is actually a little bit hot here, without it being visible. But there's
This is one thing that a lot of reenactors don't really
no,
understand.
that's reenacting reenactment.
The Vikings had different needs than modern reenactors.
Yeah.
So having furniture that you can flat pack and put in the back of a station wagon wouldn't be interesting for a Viking because it doesn't have a station wagon. Also, he wouldn't be particularly interested in hiding his water bottle. Why would he? If he is the proud owner of an actual bottle, he would show it off to all of his friends. Hey boys, look, I have a bottle.
Hey, by the way, what do you think of the authenticity of water skins in the Viking Age? The leather ones, do they exist?
They almost certainly existed in some form.
Yeah?
And now I'm kind of guessing and I have no sources. So everything I say now should just be ignored off the top of your head. But leather is obviously waterproof. Leather is a very good way to transport water if you can make a waterproof seam.
Which you line with.
And making a waterproof seam is fairly easy. The Vikings were not in contact with the Inuit, but the Inuit can make waterproof seams on their canoes, no problem. And you also need it for a water skin or something similar. I would say that's something they very probably had, but not necessarily. Your life gets a little bit more complicated if you have to bring barrels everywhere.
Yeah.
And having a barrel on the back of a horse, if you're moving with a horse, is dickish.
Yeah.
But I don't know fines. So I'm kind of just speculating relatively freely here.
We do have water skins in the store. We don't. We're not the ones that are making. There's some Vikings from Poland that do, and they have, but they use beeswax.
Those are not water
they're
skins,
kind of a
they're
puffy
leather
looking one.
water bottles. A water
Yeah.
skin would be soft.
Yeah, it's not a soft one that you can squish. It's like hardened and almost barrel. Everything from barrel shape to square pouch kind of thing. Yeah. But they work really well. Just never put any alcohol stronger than, say, I want to say it was 15%, because it will start ruining the lining on there. And of
Yeah,
course,
they
never any
use
hot liquid. But mostly
they use beeswax on the seams, and
Yeah.
beeswax will be dissolved by too high temperature or
and
too
the
much alcohol.
Yeah.
So they are a little bit dickish, but
And they're really hard to clean. So if you get, if you drink something else in there and it might start smelling moldy. I don't know, just stick with water. Yeah.
To some extent, it's a cultural thing. If your culture is capable of making a bucket, they're also that doesn't leak. I mean, they're also capable of making a barrel. But some cultures, like the Romans, for instance, really don't like barrels. They consider barrels to be barbaric. So if they transport the liquid, be it their favorite fish sauce called garum or wine, they would um, they would transport it in amphoras. An amphora is a very big ceramic bottle. And when I say very big, I mean like 60 liters
We
or
actually have a
in
glass
that.
one in the shop.
Yeah, that.
It's like only this big, this amphora, but
Yeah,
that one's glass.
yeah. But
It's supposed to be Viking age.
it's no, that's not supposed to be Viking age. What they're doing is that they're making a glass replica of a Roman ceramic amphora.
Yeah.
And I don't know of any glass amphoras at all. And if you have it, it would be from somebody's wine set from the 1700s, most likely.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, okay.
But what the text reads on that thing is basically blah blah blah. The Roman amphora was very popular. Blah blah blah. The glass amphora has nothing to do with the price of eggs, and I'm pretty sure. I will apologize profusely if I'm wrong, because I'll have an opportunity to check the store before next YouTube.
Oh, okay, good.
But I'm pretty sure I'm right about this.
The amphora that we have there, the glass one. Well, let's see. The company that we get them from, they're from Sweden, actually. Because I order them, I have them. Let's see. I have the catalog. Let's see. Loading, loading. There we go. Okay. But they have a lot. I mean, they have glass from the 1700s too. It's all kinds of historic, so not just. So this one, it's the amphora. It's called spetsamphora med smidshållare, which is basically mean it's got a, it's a amphora with a point on it and has the bar going around it, the twist that goes around it.
Yeah, the iron holders.
Yeah, the iron holders, but that's actually medieval. But we need something to be able to hold it.
No, I don't think it's
Isn't
medieval,
it medieval?
either. I think it's modern.
Yeah, it doesn't actually say. Then there's the amphora with the two glasses as well.
No,
They call them Viking glasses, but the holders are newer, are more modern. I can show you what they look like. Let's see.
but that basically proves my point, because if it was based on a find, they would say the name of the find.
Yeah. So they write, you know, that kind of, it's hard to see on there, but you can see the holders are obviously not Viking.
But
and then there's the amphora, if I make that one big. There you can see it. But this one is not very big.
No.
Let's see if I can turn it. There you can see, kind of, if I keep doing this. Anyway, it's hard to see the point on it. Maybe like, there, now you can see it. But it's not very big. It's only about this tall.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
but I can say with a fair degree of certainty that this is. It's just the idea of an amphora represented in glass.
Oh, Heidi's got two of them. Yeah, Heidi Lisa's here, by the way. Runa's sister.
It's not. It's not based on a find. Certainly not one from the Viking Age. You might have something like that. One of the things I absolutely hated that we sold. Thankfully, we are out of them and we are not buying anymore.
Oh,
Is the goddamn Brennevin's penis.
I have a picture of that one. Maybe they don't carry them anymore, but it's not Viking age. That would be the issue with that one.
No, it misses with about 700 years.
But people wanted it to be
So
Viking.
it's much closer to our age than it is to the Viking age.
I wonder if we have a glass of that. It's not even advertised in here as Viking either. So
No, nobody thinks it's Viking. That we buy it and sell it in a Viking store is the closest this thing has ever gotten to be Viking.
you know what? I think it's been removed from their product list probably a couple of years ago, actually, if I remember correctly. It could just be that it didn't sell well. Or maybe people were not buying it because they realized it wasn't Viking, or. But like I said, these guys have glass from 1700s as well, so it covers a bit more range.
I sell to everybody, so not being Viking wouldn't mean much for them, because most
there it is. No, we have it. Let's see. We don't have it, but I mean, they have it in the picture. Brännvin's penis. Okay, I got to turn this so you can see because of the... There. It's glass.
Yeah.
And you drink from the ball sack region.
No, you have shot glasses. You have the Brennivin in the penis, and then you empty it from the penis into your shot glass.
Yeah. But it sits like that. Anyway.
But that's actually an historic thing. It's just not our history. It's not
even
Viking.
has foreskin.
It's the 1700s. I don't know why, but farmers in Norway and
Yeah, it
Sweden,
does say 17th century. So I don't know who the hell ordered that for our shop long time ago, but when it was gone, we were very happy. Not for kids, said Raymond, and Charlotta is out with the eggplants.
yeah, no,
Viking, what says under? Yeah, no, it's 1700s. It is even listed in the catalog as
well, if they say
1700.
17th century, it's the 1600s, but it's
Yeah, and 17 meter
uh,
tall, Leposvensk, so then it's
yeah,
1600s. Sorry.
that's the 18th century.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Yeah.
but if the story behind them is kind of interesting, and I can't explain it any better than this. But having something like that was considered high status for a rich farmer in that period. So drinking culture in Norway and Sweden is something I would love to learn more about, because we have a lot more documentation for what they did after the Viking Age than what they did in the Viking Age. But it's the same people, they just have more access to alcohol now.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things they do is, these are, when you meet them on their days off when they are sober,
Yeah.
they would probably strike you as the most conservative farming society you can imagine. Very, very religious people who are very, very serious about everything they do. But give them alcohol and all of this changes.
Yep.
So I used to
what we
work at a
need.
museum called the Heibergske Samlinger outside of Sogndal. And they have a very interesting collection of beer bowls. When they had a party, they would have a big bowl like this that is full of beer. And then you just send it around the table. Everybody has their sip of the beer and sends it on. And some of them have text written on them. They are painted in rosemaling. If you show them that
Oh
film,
yeah,
you can
rosemaling
give
is
them
a
an
type
idea
of Norwegian paint. So
what kind of what they look like, because that's also rose painted.
just don't want this thing to knock it over. So rosemaling is a technique where you put color on each side of the paintbrush, like maybe a flat one, and then when you paint with it, it kind of blends the colors together in the middle, which technically translates to rose painting, I believe. This is rosemaling, and this is alcohol that we also got for Christmas. Thank you, by the way. That's the kind I can drink. But there you can see, you'll have like the white on one side and the other, and when you paint it, it kind of smears it in the middle. So, okay, Karl, we had the paint. Okay, I'll put this back on you. So you have time to finish this story, then I'm going to show a little Coptic, and then
the one I remember the text on. There is text on a lot of them, and some of them are just straight up.
Yeah.
The farmer Hans had this made in 1801.
Bear balls.
That sort of thing.
Beer.
But the one I remember most vividly has the text that goes around the lip of the bowl. Hadde ikke det vært for at Adam har stukket, der Eva var sprukket, hadde vi ikke sittet her og drukket. Directly translated, if it hadn't been for the fact that Adam once stabbed where Eve was cracked, we wouldn't be sitting around here drinking.
That's almost as bad as some of those lyrics. We got a Scottish guy on here. By the way, Robert is here.
Oops.
Oh my God, that's funny.
And
let's see, my yarn is all tangled here. I have to show a little bit of the stitch. So we got the Nalbinding. So the people that aren't here for the banter are, watching later and fast forwarding to the yarn. I just tell them, if you can't handle the banter, just fast forward till you see yarn. But to be honest, I like the banter as well, because you can only say so much about needle binding every week, so it's kind of fun to keep it. Okay, I have to splice some new yarn on here. So go ahead.
Not last year, but the year before, me and her were driving back and forth to Vestby all the time.
Yeah.
And one good way to stay awake in a car is to listen to podcasts. And in Norway, we have something called Henrettelsespodden.
Oh, I like that one.
Directly translated, the Execution Podcast. Because I think our last execution was in 1870 or somewhere around there. and a lot of them are very well documented.
Go ahead.
And the impression I get from these stories, and it's stories about how people did a crime that ended up with their execution. What I get from a lot of these stories is that everybody seems to be drunk out of their fucking mind all the time. So this is an area that interests me, but I know very little about. The Norwegian drinking culture from the Viking Age up until now. So if anybody have a good source book about this, I would love to read it.
Yeah. That would be good. By the way, I this time I didn't correct you, and there's a reason I usually do. When you say, you were talking about what was it the Vikings were kind of spitting into or whatever in drinking sometimes. It wasn't a horn, it wasn't a penis, it was a
Bowl?
yes. Now, what do you call that?
A bowl.
And what kind of bowl?
And
What kind of bowl did you call it?
what are you on about, woman?
You'll hear. What kind of bowl is it? What do you put in the bowl?
Beer.
Which makes it a?
Beer bowl.
It's not a bear bowl. It's a beer bowl. But it's sometimes the way you say bear. You say bear. You pronounce it Norwegian because double E would be bear in Norwegian, but in English it's beer.
And if anybody
But if you're gonna be playing with beer balls, or bear balls.
If anybody is confused about my meaning,
Charlotte thought you said bear balls, and she's Norwegian.
but then she can just talk to my translator, and everything will be fine.
The other one that he's famous for, but he didn't do today, is riding Vikings. They're not riding, they're raiding. Riding Vikings would be something.
There are some words in the English language that are theoretically different, but practically the same. So whether I am riding a horse or I'm riding France,
Or a Viking.
most of the time, from context cues, you get what I'm talking about. Another one is whale, as in bridal whale,
Oh, veil.
or whale as in Moby fucking dick. I can't tell these words apart, and no matter how many times people try to repeat them to me, it sounds like the same bloody word to me. And these subjects are so far apart that I don't think there will ever be a sentence I can make where it's actually confusing, where people are going, is he robbing the horse? Is he riding the continent of Ireland?
He's riding the Viking in the whale.
The whale shall not be lifted. Okay, I'm not allowed to do this, or I'm not allowed to lift the bloody whale. One of those things is possible to do, and the other one is not.
The bear, B-A-R-E. I like that one even better. Yeah, the bear drank the beer, says Raymond. This time they started. Okay, you get to fill my fingers now. Okay, let's see. So he can, because I got to do the needle binding part, and then we got to go. The reason is because we've got a bunch of hungry people upstairs that would like to eat.
By the way, didn't you want me to do something with the potato mouse in the oven?
No, but it's just to check it. But it's on so low.
So we're
Okay,
just
can you see my
gambling
fingers? Yeah, but you got to see the fingers. Okay, so this would be cross knit looping, which is what I was calling Coptic or Karin. You can see here because I just changed colors where it went. There. This loop that's flat up here have not been through, and you're basically going
something Warhammer birthday.
Oh, we'll get on there. Oh yeah, Albert says about 3 Warhammer 40k boxes at a small shop near the hotel, and we are celebrating the 25th. It's Ina's 25th birthday today. Happy birthday, Ina! Okay, so there. Hopefully he can see it. But anyway, you're going around these.
I have to touch the button that is not to be touched.
Which button is not to be touched?
That one.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. It just makes things a little bit messier. But anyway, so if I go down through this one and under that one, and I can go under this yarn. I can go over this yarn if I want to, but then I have to do it every time. But that is how I make the Coptic stitch. And I tangled my yarn.
And if you go under the X, you have to do it every time.
I go under the X, yeah. You can see the... Yeah, so anyway, one more. I'm going under, or down through this one, and up through this one. And I'm also working left to right. You can go the other direction too. But you just have to do it all the time. I have paint on my fingernail. We've been painting naked Karls. Maybe we should make that the thumbnail for next month. Naked Karl.
Probably, because it sounds a lot worse than it is when you insist on calling it a naked Karl.
Karl. Yep, it's a naked Karl painting now. It's a Viking painting that looks like Karl if he was naked. Okay, so the other thing now is if you wanted to do this way, the reverse, you're actually continuing it, but from this side doing the same thing. So you bend around this pulls here, if you can see that there because of the color change. So this one you've been into, and then you have the next one here. So if you went, and yeah, Karl's loving the innuendos here. So you go through the next hole from this direction and back that way. And then with the yarn in behind, and that is how you would do the reverse. So if you were going to do ribbing, where you wanted to do one this way and then one that way and one this way back and forth, you would actually get ribbing like knitting. It looks a lot like knitting through the back loop is what this does. But that is how we did the right and the wrong one. We did show up a little bit this more the last couple of weeks. Right and wrong, also rett og wrong is how they would say it in Norwegian. The Americans would say knit and purl. Because it looks so much like knitting that it kind of has those names. But it would be cross knit looping the right way and the from the front and then the reverse.
Yeah, and wrong in Norwegian doesn't mean wrong, it means inverted.
Yeah.
So if you put on your shirt inside out, you har på deg skjorta på vranga.
Oh, good. The chat's got so much fun stuff. We're going to have to watch this back and read the chat because I missed a whole bunch in the beginning. We were having too much fun, and I'm sure you have some more nicknames that I wasn't quite aware of. Anyway, so you can see that we'll bump it now on top. And because my color is changing, if I wanted to, you can see the white row up here. If I didn't want that white row to show, I would have done one full row of the brown or gray, whatever, from the right side before flipping it, and then you wouldn't see that. It would look more like that. So hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, that was, we can flip it back up and now. That was the quick version of today's needle binding stitch for those of you who haven't had too much, this way. Oh, haven't had too much of the Christmas beer. We have another picture we had to show too, but actually the blue sky thing I posted on Blue Sky. I'm trying to put one picture down there because I can't post anything on Instagram. It doesn't hook up to my camera on the new phone.
Put it on.
We had the cat cages. Okay, support that thing so it doesn't fall.
But you should put it on Twitter or X or whatever they call it now.
I never joined Twitter. I just was too lazy.
Do you want me to?
I have to show you that. Okay, so imagine Karl carrying these through Bergen with a cat head sticking out of it.
I think I have to imagine. I've probably seen your social media.
And if you've ever seen the movie Argyle, anyway, there you go. So this is it's one of the cat carriers. And Karl was walking around Bergen with two of these kitties on him. You were a hit in every store we went to.
The cat carrier in Argyle was product placement. It's the only time I know of
the movie
where
Argyle,
I have been a subject of product placement.
But the movie Argyle, it was on a backpack, and it was like this, and it had like an Argyle pattern, which I really didn't, that wasn't really the thing. But we really liked the idea that there was this cat head sitting there going, hello.
It's super cute. And also...
It was so cute, yeah.
The cats are much more comfortable when they feel that they are hidden, but they still have good overview.
Yep.
So...
so that's what this was. But anyway, that was a funny thing. I should, not very Viking, but it was hilarious.
They're not easy to get into them, but they are pretty happy once they're in.
Yeah. So that was cat Christmas
no,
presents.
not both cats in one. We have one for each cat. So I carry a cat on each shoulder, or we use the kids to carry the cats.
I can see if I can find a picture real quick. Let's see. I called, what did I call it? How to walk your cats in Bergen. Here, we'll put it like this. Then turn the camera. Here we go. How to walk your cats in Bergen. And there's Karl walking the cats in Bergen. You can see one's got his head in there, and this is actually the other one's ass. And then there you can see that is actually not AI. That is what his head looks in. It's like almost magnified. It's so funny. And then, of course, this is us at the cafe with the bags on the floor. There's one over here and one here, kind of cut off. So that's how you walk your cats in Bergen. By the way, Albert had a comment on here too. He said, I gave Ina the new D&D Dungeon Master Guidebook for her birthday and gave her the number new player handbook. That was so cool. A lady at my local Renfest carries her pet chicken in one of those. We had Clara was the name of the chicken. It was Winkled. Donald and Wenka has now become Winkled. But Wenka and Donald Shaw, they had a chicken that was that they brought all the time too to the Viking markets, and they would have like this little fenced-in cage that they made for it. It was so cool to see with waddling. But yeah, I like that. We could bring a chicken with us, and then if the gimbal doesn't work, we can use.
The chicken is
As
just
we were
sitting
talking about
there
last
and
week.
Donald and Wenka is waddling.
Yeah. So anyway, I see Amaro's got to go, but we also have to go because we have
we have people to feed.
we have people upstairs that we got to feed. All we have to do is puree the pumpkin soup. They don't really eat pumpkin soup here, so the American made it.
Yeah. But the American also pureed the chicken, if I
almost did. Oh my god. Okay, so I can't just. It's like tomato soup. I have to have something in it. I can't just have the puree soup. It's good, but yeah. So I put chicken in it. So now it's got some meat. Something died for it, so Karl will be happy. But this time I threw all the pumpkin and the onions and whatever in the pot with the chicken and started steaming it, etc. And I realized that if I puree it afterwards, I'm going to be pureeing the chicken as well. And so I had to sit there and pick out all the chicken, 800 grams of it. Oh my god, it was horrible. Anyway, so that I can puree it later. But otherwise, we'd have baby food for dinner. We can't do that.
The one thing I'm a little bit worried about, and the reason we should probably end this now, is that we put
mashed
potatoes in the oven to defrost
I made some
like an
earlier
hour
this
ago.
year, and they were frozen. Yeah, but we put them in at 50 degrees. It's not.
Yeah, but I'm strongly suspecting
It's
that
covered.
we have made a cake now.
That's okay. It's not for us. It's for the kids who may or may not eat the pumpkin soup. Okay, Happy New Year, you guys. I see coming up soon as well. We did take some footage from the boat on the way over here, the what I would call the ferry, the one that doesn't take the cars, though. From Bergen to here, it's about a 5-hour trip.
A little bit less, but
yeah. So we got the camera did pick up pretty well the lights of Bergen as we're leaving Bergen. So we have about 5 minutes of footage of that.
We have some good footage. It's
and a little bit from Florida, but we need more.
We know how to edit. We are just horrible at it.
It takes time.
So for us to edit...
It's a work in progress.
For us to edit something like a YouTube film with like probably something in the neighborhood of 80 different cuts, that would literally take us a week of work. And that's full days for both of us.
Yeah.
Because we have no bloody idea what we're doing. Hopefully we will learn it one of these days, but right now it's use mayonnaise on totem pole.
Let's just say that
monkey see, monkey maybe do.
Sorry, I just use mayonnaise on totem pole made me think, what is, this thing. And anyhow, but yeah, no, we have to play with that eventually. But actually, we're going back at an earlier time of the day, which means we'll actually be able to get more footage with light. So you can actually see the mountains instead of just like a little dot of light here and there, and you have to guess where the water is.
Now that trip with the boat
is really amazing.
Really amazing if you can see it in daylight. But this time of year, daylight is something that happens to other people.
So anyway, we'll get that together, and then we'll edit that about the same time we'll edit our American trip from we'll get there. But we did get some footage of it anyway, and now that the microphones are working, it's much better too, because it was really windy out on the deck. That thing goes fast. So we got a lot of Happy New Year messages. We've already had birthdays months ago. So Happy New Year's, and I see that the New Zealanders and the Aussies there are getting geared up to tell us how the future will be. Well, okay, but anyway, we should be on, what is next Saturday, the date? Just opening a calendar. Saturday would be the 7th, no problem. We'll be on at 6:30 as well, same time.
Yeah.
Next Saturday, so.
And then we're back in Gudvangen.
Yep. Okay, time to go feed the hostile Ordals. Okay, we'll see you